Happy New Year. How is everybody? And happy super full moon in Cancer. It's a big month. It's a big month, and it's going to be a interesting month. And if you're not careful, it could be a volatile month, but it doesn't need to be. So I'm asking you before we get started on this full moon live to have patience. Treat yourself with a little bit of grace. Think before you do anything, which is so important because a lot of things, there's a need for decisions to be made, especially on our home front personal level with relationships. And it's not just relationships with somebody that we may love, like a partner, but also the relationships of the people in our lives, and really kind of trying to figure out who's going to continue through the seasons with us, or maybe the ones that we need to release, because it's what's going to end up being best for both of us. And I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying I look glowing. But yeah, so what I'm doing tonight is I am going to be going over this month's full moon. It's the first full moon in January. It is a super full moon, which means it's the closest it's going to be to the earth. So it's big and it's beautiful and it's glorious. But because of how much closer it is, it's how much more powerful the effects have on us and our planet as well, which is important to know because it affects everything. Which I know if anybody knows anything about the full moon, they know that. So I'm going to get started with this, and I do want to let you know that I am doing a full moon journey tomorrow evening. The full moon journey is going to be East Coast time at 8 p.m. and West Coast at 8 p.m., so EST and PST, as well as the fact that but at any coast, it doesn't matter. Everybody's welcome to do whatever time they want to do. So if you're on the East Coast, you can do West Coast if you want to. Everybody's a little bit different. So you have the freedom. All coasts are welcome at whatever times we have listed. It is an important journey, because if anybody knows anything about journeys, there's a difference between a guided meditation and a journey. Journeys are very cool. They're very intense. When I bring you on these journeys, I do stay with you through them because I could feel everybody's energy. So I know where you're all out at during your individual journey. But legitimately, I cross you over the veil into your Akashic field so that you have the most amazing experience available, so that you're able to activate your vehicle of light body, and so that we can transform. So there's going to be karmic patterns that are going to be healed. There's going to be some cord cutting, releasing, light activation codes, setting the stage up for this year to be as abundant and prosperous as possible. And I am going to tell you the mantra that I'm using for 2026 is that 2026 is the year we fix. And that starts with ourselves on an individual basis, and then kind of filters out to our immediate circle and our friends and family. And from there, hopefully the changes that we're making and the discoveries that we are finding out about ourselves and about the world around us, we can effectively start making a positive change in other people's lives and in our community. I do have to say the one thing that has to change is the energy that everyone is putting out. I stayed off social media for quite a long time because there were some things that I needed to work on and deal with for myself. And honestly, every time I went on social media, there was so much anger and so much hate, and people that used to be people that had a little bit more of an open mind and could listen, maybe not agree with somebody else's points or views, respected them. And some of these people were the most angry and lost the ability to do that. So we need to put out amongst all this chaos, and we have to be smart. Anger begets anger. Remember that. we're going to rise above that and ascend above that. So a lot of this year is about us individually, is about you and the work that you need to do. So this year is 2026, the year we fix. And yes, guess what? It is the fire horse, which is amazing because it sets so many people free if they tap into it. But in saying that as well, being the fire horse and going through that healing and the release that needs to be done, and somebody else is really, Joss, I'm glad you jumped on because something's really going to connect with you on this one. You have to be able to release and let go of things from your past, not only your immediate past, but you really have to come to terms with things that you have to let go of from way back when. You know, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be healed. There are a lot of things that affected us, even going as far back as being in utero in this lifetime. So, here we go again. It's important that you kind of acknowledge and come to terms with all of that so that you can release it, so you can create the space of all of the good stuff that needs to come in and the possibilities. By holding on to things you're not meant to hold on to that no longer serve you, you are blocking every chance about that abundance and prosperity coming to you, you know? So it's something you got to kind of come to terms with, make a decision about, release it, let it go, and never look back. Think about where you are right now. And if you start doing the work, I want to think about, you know, we're going to go 6 months from now. I'm going to say, look back where you were in January. If you did the work, and then you're going to see how much you transformed. So, and I'm here to help you do that. It's so important. So really, honest to God, this is the first new moon of the year, and it is in Cancer, which brings up all the feels, let me tell you. And this is also kind of like an aragonite moon, if anybody knows about aragonite crystals and what they do. And things come to the surface. All the issues come on up. You see everything clearly. And then you need to deal with them and clear the space and release what you need to. Because once you get that all cleared, even though aragonite is a gorgeous orange cluster, deep colors and lighter colors of orange, like a starburst. And that's what we are, is we're all part of the stars. We're made up of the same thing that stars are made up of in the universe. So all those beams come up through us, everything rising to the surface, and we're feeling and we're dealing with it all. And then once we've dealt with it and released it, the brightest light comes out of you. You're igniting that fire. But there's some things, so being that it's a fire horse year, it's also a phoenix year. And what happens when a phoenix rises? You know, that's the name of my business, Phoenix Rising. What happens? You have to completely combust. Thank you so much, Joss. You have to completely combust and become ash. The old self is burning away, so you evolve and you become into a bigger, brighter, more beautiful version of yourself. So this year is an exciting year, but it requires work, and there's a lot of shadow work that needs to be done. Don't be afraid of doing any kind of shadow work, because we all have light and dark within us, and we all have shadows, and the things are shadow selves. And you have to be able to face that part of yourself and work with it for you to be able to bring the brightest light. So, all right, my little rant, I think, is done for now. I think. But if you want to do that full moon journey tomorrow to start this process for the year, all you got to do is direct message me, and then you can join in, and it's going to be amazing. And I'm really excited about it, because I love crossing the veil into the Akashic realm, and I love getting you guys to do it. Yeah, you can't run from it. You have to turn around and face your shadow. Joss, it's so important. It's so important, and you need to. And the problem is you know you need to. Because the shadows that keep coming up and haunting you, at once they may have been beautiful and brilliant, but now they're just a whisper of what they used to be. Just a shadow. So you just need to handle it. I know you know what I'm talking about. I know you do. Okay, so full moon, January 3rd, 2026. This month, you have the opportunity to tune in. And it's important to activate what's meant for you and to be able to receive what the lunar cycle and the stars and the planets are providing you or causing to happen. Like this one's causing a little bit of a ruckus. This full moon is causing a little bit of a ruckus. So if you should already be feeling it. You actually have to tune into it and allow yourself to feel it. And allow yourself not to question the things that you're feeling. And this is why these full moon forecasts are so important. Because things can be catching you off guard, come out of nowhere. And you say, like, where the hell is this coming from? Excuse my Jersey. You're like, what the fuck? What's going on? You know, because it's a lot. And this full moon is giving you the feels. Okay? If you're actually tuning in and you're, you know, working with somebody or listening to a forecast, anything that it might be, okay, you realize that a lot of what's going on is already explained within these forecasts so that you can prepare yourself and go, that's what that is, and not be caught up in the crosshairs of it. You know, with knowledge, you gain power, and the knowledge is so important. Hello, Kiki. Hey, Jenna. Okay, so this month you have the opportunity to tune in and see things exactly as they are. Remember, this is like an aragonite full moon. You may not feel ready, and I know a lot of you aren't ready for this because you're like, damn, last year was such a bitch. Or you might be struggling a little bit, and it may have been a rough couple of years, and you're like, really? But the fact you're at that point and you can acknowledge yourself, like, I really don't want to deal with this. Like, are you serious, Elena? Yeah, I'm flipping serious. Don't get it twisted. You have to deal with it so you can get rid of it. So you can just give it away. Let somebody else deal with it. It doesn't belong to you anymore. So you may not feel that you are ready, but engage your faith. Have faith in yourself and what your life was meant to be, because you are ready. Everything that's gone on the past few years, I mean, past 4 or 5 years, you know, has prepared you for today, has prepared you for right now, has prepared you for what is coming for you this year. And it is so important that you just engage your faith and have courage. Y'all have it within you, and go after it. Go after this year. And by the end of this year, it's just going to be glorious. You know, nothing worth having ever comes easy. It's going to have its up and downs. Because remember, we're doing some shadow work to call in that light, to activate that fire within us again. The fire is still within you. So be brave. Engage your faith, because you are ready. This year is a time for change and for great personal awakenings. For truly discovering, for the people who actually take the time and tune in and start allowing themselves to listen to the voice within them. The one that you feel, that you know, not your mind, you know, not something that's necessarily driven by love or attraction, that through your heart, you're going to feel it through your heart, because your heart is the seat to your soul, is the center of who you are. Your heart brings you to the place of memories of lifetimes, of this one, but all the ones that came before. So let's just say, some people can say you've been training for this your whole life. I got to add on to that. You've been training for this for lifetimes, for where you are at right now. So it's your turn to engage in your life, to let go what doesn't belong, and to truly call in what's yours. Hey, Dom Dom. Hey, baby. Okay, so this year is all about you. So tune in, especially now. The answers to your questions are right in front of you. They're right there. All you have to do is allow yourself to see them. Actually, to allow yourself to face the answers to the questions you've asked and accept it. Yes, it has come time again for us to look to the stars. The universe is showing us a little bit of grace this month and has given us a little more time to come to terms with what we need to and to release what no longer is yours. It's a time of great healing, change, and transformation. So 2026 is the year we fix. And I'm here to help you navigate the path to healing and abundance. You're ready. I know I am. So let's go. Okay, are you ready? You guys ready for this? Are you guys ready for this full moon? Let's get into it. So this glorious full moon, and it is glorious. She is beautiful. She is big and she's ready to rock. But she is a banger. She is a banger. This full moon is opposite Venus and Mars. So that's what we're starting out with. It gives you the feels and really is bringing them up. And that's part of having that Cancer influence on it as well. So you have the Cancer influence along with Venus and Mars, and then being right on top of the sun. Okay, because it's not just about the full moon. It's about what everything else is doing revolving around it. Okay, so the full moon is opposite Venus and Mars. And it gives you the feels and is really bringing all of those feelings to the surface. Good and the ones that don't feel so good, the bad ones. But you need to remember, it's like an aragonite crystal. It's bringing it all up. So some of you truly need to face some things and have decisions to make. Because now is your time to make those decisions. If you want to jump on the back of that horse, that firehouse this year, and it's a Mustang, and you want to be able to ride off and free yourself. I mean, we're going to ride this one bareback, guys. Okay, we are. You have to be able to make the decisions, even the hard ones. Because if you don't, you're not even going to be able to get on the back of that horse. And you're going to be stuck in the same place now next year. And that's not what you want. This is a year of change. Okay? It may be really hard. But remember, situations like these and doing what's best for ourselves in the long run is best for everybody involved. So remember, this is a full moon that has a lot to do with personal relationships and with love. And a lot of people have been struggling, and those people know who I'm talking about, you know, and have kind of been hiding and making excuses, you know, because it's hard. It's hard to finally release something and let it go, you know. So, but in the long run, it may hurt a little bit. It's going to hurt. You know, when you love somebody and you have to release them, it's going to hurt because they're a huge part of who you are. But remember, some people are meant to be in our entire lifetime through every season. And then some are only here for a couple of seasons. And all of those relationships matter and are important. But when it's time to let go, and you know it's time, you need to release it. Because in doing so, in the long run, doing what's best for you is going to be what's best for everybody that's involved. Okay? Because then everything comes into alignment. So yes, I'm sure you know what I'm about to say. This full moon is calling for you to take an honest reassessment of your love life and relationship goes. Oh, so they can see if you're still there for them. Some people you are able to remain friends with, and it develops into a relationship like that. But a lot of times the relationships that were the most passionate and intense, that just kind of ignited and burned that white hot, You know, when sometimes those go quick, and when they're done, they're done. And those are the relationships sometimes you have to release and let go of, because it's too hard to stay within the boundaries of what the new relationship is. I do believe, Ramona, great to see you preaching your very own truth, Mother. If anybody doesn't know Dom Dom, that is my child. He is my oldest baby. He is. And decided to jump on here, so I love it. And what I'm saying is for everybody, so, which is a good thing. But sometimes you really do have to let go. So sometimes there has to be some time apart for those healings to happen. And then you might be able to revisit it. And a conversation now and again to be there for somebody you care about, yes. Okay. But there's boundaries. They can't be crossed. Once a relationship is done, it's done. Thank you, baby. I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay. So this full moon, what she is doing right now, is shedding light on and revealing what you truly love. And I'm going to say relationship goals as well. I got to add this really quick. It's not just love relationships. It's also your personal relationships in your life, your friends, anybody that you have a close relationship that affects you and your energy affect each other. You're funny, Dom. It's not about that. So this full moon is shedding light on revealing what you truly love. In saying that, this moon does expose it all. So it exposes everything. I love you too, Dominic. So pay attention. People's true nature right now, their true color, the true color of people, not only in your personal life, but our world, you're seeing it. People's true nature are being exposed right now. So you can see it clearly. So it's not only in your personal life that this truth is being seen and everybody's showing their nature, but on a national and an international level as well. Everything is coming out, and it's all of a sudden, and the moon is shedding light on it. And the past 2 months, with last month's full moon and this one, okay, there is no question. You can't explain some of the shit that's happening away. Excuse my Jersey. So the true colors of the people in our government, of the people in the world, of our friends, our family, our lovers, everything has come to the surface, and they can't hide it anymore, especially if you allow yourself to tune in and see. But the whole point is you have to allow yourself to see it and stop making excuses and trying to explain things away, okay? And realize the one thing you can dictate and control is the course of your life and who you are and what you believe in, and fortifying hearth and home and working on yourself, because this is about you. We fix ourselves this year. We fortify ourselves. We get our strength and our clarity back again. And then that's going to start affecting people in our life, in our family. And that's going to affect a change in them. And then that energy is going to go out. And at that point, we can start working within our community to affect the change that this world and our communities and our own lives so desperately need. But there's that old saying, be the change that you want to see in the world. Stop pointing fingers. Stop blaming others. Start changing your words. Words are powerful. Start putting out there those positive things. The truth is a truth. It's not making exchanges, but understanding that you may not be able to fix something out there, but you can fix what you need to fix in here and in your life. Okay, and this moon is allowing that, and is allowing you to discern and really see who people are. A lot about who you are yourself and where you're at. And also people in your life, the ones you love, those relationships. Everything's being shown. They can't hide it anymore. Okay. So you will discover, and now be able to discover this. The people who truly want peace and the ones who are after war. Hi, Dave. How are you, sweetie? Okay. And the ones that want war, they're not trying to hide it anymore. They're going after it. They're creating the wars that they want. They're trying to ignite wars because for some reason it makes them feel so much powerful, and it's about the power, but they don't realize the ones that are seeking war, the ones that are feeding into the anger and the frustration and those defeatist attitudes, those people who are doing that, I feel sorry for them. I do. Because they're the ones that are truly lost. They're the ones that their self-esteem, there's something missing in them. So instead of working on themselves and going about things the right way, they're causing issues with everybody else and then trying to be the great saviors. Save yourself. Okay? So, so you can see who's actually going after war. This full moon is in Cancer, and it is in close alignment with the Sun, Venus, and Mars. The Sun, Venus, and Mars conjunction, you may not be able to, but they are there. Venus and Mars cannot be seen right now because the sun's rays and how they're aligned is actually hiding them really well and is blocking them. The sun's rays and its light is actually blocking from you to be able to physically see them, but you can feel them because they're all here. How can we see that they're going after war or peace? Because if you tune into this full moon's energy and you try to drown out the noise and you really start going in through your heart, because your heart is your seat of your soul. Your heart is your access to who you truly are and the truth. We were born with all the wisdom. Most people don't realize that. We were born with it. You know, as a baby, we come in with all this knowledge. And because of programming, and say the people in our lives, a lot of that is actually, they throw a whole bunch of shit on top of it. We get raised a certain way to believe a certain thing, and then as we get older, we start remembering. And then if you start remembering, hopefully you start doing the work you need to do to uncover the truth in your truth. Okay? But you can see plainly who wants peace and who's going after war. And war doesn't mean, because this full moon is bringing everything up. So when you're working through certain situations and relationships, you're going to have those hard conversations. Somebody may come up to you and say something that maybe offends you or maybe you don't like. That's not somebody creating war. That's somebody speaking their truth, sharing with you how they might be feeling or you might be making them feel. Okay? So that's not somebody that's after war or trying to start shit. No, it's not time to go to war. It is not. Sometimes it's a mirror, yes, looking at yourself in the mirror, absolutely. Now is a time for peace. We don't want war. We want peace and to be able to communicate with ourselves, number one, and others again. Hey, Ash, how are you, sweetie? That baby's so beautiful. But if there is war and you have to defend yourself, you have to defend yourself in a war. You know, everything that's going on, there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now in the world that none of us signed up for. And all of a sudden, the entire world is being affected because of what these different countries and leaders are doing. I know. So then you have to defend yourself. No. You don't want war. You want to be able to stand in your truth and do no harm. And if you get to the point where you need to defend yourself or somebody weaker, then you need to do that. But war is not a good option, especially now in our world. What we're striving for is peace. That's what we're striving for. Get war out of your head. But if you see people are starting to cause these issues in your life, like starting little wars, then if you got it for a while, let go of them for a bit so you can have some peace in your own life, then do that. Love, yes. It's not a time for war. It's a time for love, a time for peace. I like that. Hi, Maria. So, all right, where are we? All right, I went through that. So what does that mean? Well, Venus and Mars are combust, meaning being burned by the rays of the sun. So going a little further, what that does, that alignment and the sun's rays are doing to Venus and Mars are actually weakening those planets, the energy that they're emitting, okay? Making it a bit trifling, making things a little bit harder to handle in lines of relationships, as far as love and personal, and even business relationships. So Venus is more affected than Mars is and is harmed more by this. So let me put it another way. What it feels like now with what's happening is like Venus and Mars have descended into the underworld, which is encouraging us. It encourages the fact that they're going down, okay? The underworld is not as scary as some people want to make it seem. That's where your shadow work is done. Let's just put it that way. It's where, you know, when you go in to the underworld and cross the river Styx, go to heaven. You know, every religion has a different way that, you know, in Catholic religion, you go to the pearly gates and you speak to St. Peter, and there's the book of your life and all of the things you've done or not done and whether you're going to be accepted into heaven or not, you know, going in the underworld, you know, in ancient Egyptian and Nordic and things like that, crossing the river Styx. You know, you're what you've done in this lifetime, and that's why it's so important, so you don't carry bad karma with you, is weighed and measured, you know, and determines so much of what your afterlife and next lifetime, the things that you're going to have to do are going to be like. How about reconnecting with someone from the past? Okay, that's a loaded question, Joss. That is a loaded question. You can absolutely connect with some people in the past, because sometimes people come into our lives and it's not the right time, or we were meant to go through something and something pulls us away from each other. And then as we get older, gone through different things, maybe grown up a little bit, maybe dealt with some of our trauma, then you might reconnect with them and then it feels right, but you will know if that connection is right. There's nothing wrong with reconnecting with people in the past, but you asking me that question is kind of loaded, so I can't really give the answer. You know, it depends. If it's what's best for you and your highest good, yes. If it is going to cause you to hurt and bring you pain and chaos, no. But after a little while of reconnecting with somebody, you're going to know whether it's going to create chaos in your life, in your world, and disrupt your peace and steal it from you, or if it's something that's going to build you up and is aligned with your highest good. That's the best way I can answer that. Joss knows what I'm talking about. Some other people know what I'm talking about. Where am I? So, Venus and Mars have descended into the underworld, which is encouraging introspection, for us to have introspection, to surrender, and a need for purification and being cleansed. That's why tomorrow's full moon journey, we're working on that. We're going to be doing a healing. We're going to be working with karmic patterns, cutting cords, you know, like I said, going through a healing, balancing all of your chakras, getting them spinning the right direction. We're going to be activating some light codes, which is going to draw in that abundance in this lifetime in the health and healing. But like I said, we have to let go and deal with some of the shit from our past before we can make room. because you don't want to do something half-assed. Do it the right way. You can't skip steps. You got to climb the ladder one step at a time, baby steps. And then you're going to fall down a couple steps, and that's okay. Get back up, and we keep going, and each step will eventually become stronger and stronger. Life isn't perfect. It wasn't meant to be. We're all here to suffer the human condition, and it's glorious and a beautiful life. Even with all the worst things that we go through, we may not know the reasons why, but they happen for a reason. But we ourselves can control how we respond and how we rise. It's all about our ascension. Okay? Happy New Year. Happy New Year, beautiful one. Okay, so, where am I? So it encourages retrospection, introspection, surrender, and a need for purification and being cleansed. If you were wondering, this Venus cycle is actually associated with the goddess Inanna's descent into the underworld. Okay. Hi, Craig Singer. How are you? How are you? You guys definitely should follow Craig. Hands down, you definitely should. Hey, Doreen. Doreen, you're going through so much of what I'm talking about here with this full moon. You're going to have to listen to the beginning of it. So now the sun is conjunct Mars, and it calls in and ignites. So because we're dealing with Venus and Mars, okay, Mars, that's ambition. It's powerful. There's a lot of things that Mars does, but it's good and it's bad. And because we got some things countering it, it can be a little bit of frustrating. So I need you to check yourselves. I really need you to check yourselves, okay? So the sun is conjunct Mars, calls in and ignites ambition, desire, and passion. So it ignites all of these amazing things that going into the year of the fire horse is just fantastic. They're like, yes, give me more of that. But because of the alignment with what's going on with Venus and the sun and some of the fixed stars, it's like igniting this passion within you and having all these amazing ideas and somebody putting a harness on you and holding you back. Okay? So, sun conjunct Mars, it calls in that ambition, desire, and passion, but it's restraining us. So it's like you're fighting against it and trying to get free. And sometimes pushing against it, pushing too hard and fighting it isn't going to get you where you need to be. It's actually going to throw you further back and get you angrier and more frustrated. And what we need to do is control our emotions there and be able to process them and not allow them to take control of us, okay? So, they have been restrained and subdued and cannot be fully realized right now with this energy. Happy New Year, Dave. Happy New Year, Doreen. Happy New Year, everybody. It's going to be a big year. It's going to be a ride. Okay, so subdued and cannot be fully realized because of what the alignments are right now. And remember, right now, all of this stuff is being drawn to the surface that we have to deal with and face. So that's part of the thing that restrains you, is the things that have been blocking you and holding you back. So you have to release those things. You got to give them away. They don't belong to you anymore, so that you're able to realize and achieve the goals that you want to. Okay, so this can be troublesome because it may make it harder for you with what's going on with Mars. It may make it harder to be assertive or to use your initiative. So you have these amazing ideas and you really want to do it, but something's holding you back and you can't make that next step. Or you can't open your mouth and say what it is you need to say. Okay, so if you feel like you're getting blocked and things like that and it's frustrating you, it's because of what's going on with this full moon and the alignments right now, which means take a look at the things that you need to deal with and face and release. Face your shadow. See it for what it is and what's going on, and then do that work and let it go. Because I promise you, if you do, amazing things will happen. I swear it will. I swear, I can promise you that. I can promise you that. But if you're not willing to engage and do the things that you need to and be brave, then you never have the opportunity to get there. Like I do readings and sessions with people, and we map it out. When we do a life path session, we map it out. Like I can see some people have 2 paths, some people have 3 or even 4. Okay. So we go through what's going on in their life, and that if it's not the right path, we're able to say, yes, they can. Shadows can attract certain people in relationships, 100%. So, what happens is if you're not on the right path, we make a map together. We create the blueprint of this is where you're at, but this is, if you stay on this path, this is what's going to happen. This is another path that you can choose. So if you don't want to be here and you want to be on that path, you need to do this, this, and this. And then this, and this will come into your life. I've had people come back like 3 months later and look at me and say, none of it came true. And then I look at them and I laugh. I smile. Shit-eating grin. I said, it's because you didn't do a GD thing I told you to do. And then they look. I'm like, I told you what you needed to do to get where you needed to go. And the problem is when you work with somebody like me, okay, and we're working with you, and all of this stuff is resonating with you, that means spirit is working through us. You know, I don't know. 99.9% of you guys have never met in my life when I first start working with you. I don't look at people's social media. I don't want to know. I don't want to be prompted in any way. And my first session that I do with people, okay, for an hour session, before I even get on a call with you or meet with you in person, I take a pen or a pencil and I take paper. And legitimately what I do is I look up and say, what do you got for me? What do they need to know? And then at that Paul, it's like starting a new job. You kind of can barely get through it, and then it gets better and better. 100%. Thank you. That's because those are all my spirits with me. You actually can see the orbs. That's amazing. I love it. I love it. Because everything I do is spirit driven, in all honesty. So I look, and then I take that pen and I go on the paper and I just start writing. I don't even know what I'm writing. I start writing. And then what happens is I don't even read it. The first time I read it is when I work with somebody and I'm like, they're like, I have questions. I'm like, I'm sure you do, but you're not allowed to ask me any questions till after I do this. I want you to know what spirit wanted you to know, what they had for you. Okay. So then what I do is I turn around, I'll go through the whole thing. We'll come to the end and I'm like, do you have any questions? And then about 98 to 99% of the time, they're like, no, you covered everything. Every question I had, you hit. And then they'll say, well, what did this mean? Or what did it mean in reference to this? And that's when we start really getting into the nitty gritty. And then we fine tune, and then spirit, because what happens is I get what spirit has for you. And then I share it with you. And then from there, once I'm in your energy working with you, then I get other stuff. So I hear them chirping, you know. And I know the things that I need to say and what's going on and what really is most important. So I'm going to stress anybody who has not worked with me, I am not a fast food psychic. That's not what I do. You guys have all these psychics and mediums, and I'm going to tell you the majority of them are full of shit. I'm going to tell you that. And there are some real ones that are giving you information. But they'll sit there and flip cards, and they'll answer a question here and they answer a question there, and people send them $5. They send them a gift. They do this. Don't ask me if he's coming back to you. Don't ask me if you're going to win $1 million. Okay, those things will come up in your readings of the people who are meant to be in your life. Okay, but what Spirit gives me is the deepest part of you and the things that you need to work on, the things that you have to heal so that you're able to call in the person you're meant to be with. So can I tell you, absolutely, you're going to meet a so-and-so in a certain period of time, or you're going to get a job. Absolutely, 100%. But I'm not going to do a live where somebody just says, oh, is he going to come back to me? It's not that easy. I could turn around and say, yep, they are, and I'm leaving you there. Yep, they could come back. Or I could turn around and say, well, they're not going to come back unless you do what you need to do, or they're not meant to be with you. But I'm giving you, oh, thank you. She's so right. You know if someone's going to stop your progress, Dave. You know we all have dreams and goals of things that we want to do. And then a lot of times when we're with people, like when I'm doing Life Path with people, and they're like, well, I'm going to school, or I want to move to such and such a place, but I also want love in my life, this and that. I'm like, if you're looking to move 2,000 miles away, you don't want to meet somebody where you currently live and fall in love with them, because a lot of the times they're not looking to move and their families are where they're at, and you'll end up sacrificing something about yourself to be with them. Don't rush things. Work on each thing. Like I turn around and say, like my one son, he's my son Joey, he wants to move within a couple of years. Okay. And he's trying to get him to go to Nashville, but he wants to go to South Dakota, and that place is cold. And we were talking about community, and he wants to start going to a church. I said, so join a church in a community. And what he said to me was, I can't. I'm like, yeah, but Joe, you're not going to move for like 2 or 3 years. He goes, Mom, and he's highly functioning autistic, this one. He goes, I'm nervous and afraid, okay, that I'm going to turn around and get so connected with the people in the church, in the community, that when I go to move, it's going to be so hard for me to do that. And it's going to hurt so bad for me to have to get up and start. So he's like, I'll definitely like get involved in the community and everything when I get my house. So, but I'm like, Joe, you can't live your life that way. You know, if you were moving next year, I would say, yeah, but he's right. He's saving himself in a situation where he would have to stay instead of going and being where he's meant to be. Okay. So when you work with me, we're getting to the heart of it. We're going into you. We're seeing what your future holds and what's there for you. We're seeing where you're at. We're seeing who's not good for you, what is good for you, what job you're meant to move into. Okay, so we see these things and we navigate them. So then all those questions you ask me are gonna come through. It's the best way I can tell you. So could I tell you if you're going to meet somebody? Yes, 100% I could tell somebody you're going to meet somebody and be with them. I could tell you if you're going to get a job. I can tell you all of those things. But that honestly isn't what matters. It's superficial. You're more than that and you deserve more, if that makes any sense to you. So if anybody hasn't worked with me, you know, there's work to be done. It's not that easy. And then you go off and go, oh my goodness, she said that I'm going to get this job. Now I don't have to turn around and put in your applications. No, you have to put in your applications, because if you don't put in your applications, then the job that you're getting isn't going to be able to find you. Hello, Michael. It has been a minute, sweetheart. Happy New Year. It's been a long time. My goodness. I'm waving, but it's not allowing me to wave. Yep, I got to wave. Okay, so the fact that your ambitions and everything, even though you have them right now, but they're being restrained and subdued, they can't be fully realized. So what is that going to cause within you? That's why I said, understand what's going on in the stars so you understand why you're feeling a certain way. So this can be troublesome because it may make it harder to be assertive or use your initiative. So take a breath and show yourself some grace. and I'm going to add this, as well as others, because it's a good chance it will cause irritation. Good to see you too, sweetheart. Impatience, defensiveness, anger, resentment, fear of competition, and sexual frustration to boot. Okay, so understand. I'm giving you an explanation of what's going on, what's happening, the energy that's coming from this lunar cycle. Okay, so what it's bringing up to the surface, what you need to deal with, but also the blocks and frustrations and issues that it could be causing that aren't exactly the greatest. So understand, if you're feeling these things and you're frustrated and you're getting a little bit angry and you feel like you're being held back and blocked and all of these things, there's a good chance that this person sitting right next to you or on the other side of the phone or somebody you're working with is going through the same damn thing. Your partner is going through the same feelings. And that's where it gets interesting, because some people handle those feelings and the stress and anxiety a little bit better than others. So you have to allow yourself to show each other some grace, you know, and open up your line of sight, expand your line of sight, because you're not going to be able to bully your way through this one. This one requires a little bit of finesse, okay? A little bit of finesse. So me, am strongly suggesting you take a step back in these situations where, you know, you have all this going on, but you're starting to get irritated and angry and frustrating, where all of a sudden you start getting jealous of other people and their accomplishments or what they're doing, or jealous of somebody having somebody else, or somebody is talking the ear of your partner off. You know, you have to take a step back, okay, to avoid the temptation to resort to non-direct or subversive actions, which will backfire on you. Okay, so if you're trying to bully your way through this, or you're trying to be sneaky because it's not happening as quickly as you want it to, or you're being underhanded, that might temporarily do something, but oh boy, is that going to backfire, and that's going to backfire huge. Talk about the universe bitch slapping you. Okay, you need to do right and not resort to this just so you get your own way. So even though this year is about you and the work that you need to do, hey, sweetheart, you don't do it at all costs. You don't step on people. You don't, you know, do it the right way. Stand in your truth. Do no harm. Thank you, Elena. I think we all needed to hear you today. Well, I'm back now, so you'll hear more and more of me, whether you want to or not. In fact, I had some interesting ideas, so a little bit of my weirdness is going to come out. But, you know, you have to be able to laugh. You have to be able to smile. Even when things get really bad, you have to find a way to laugh. Dance it out. That's all I can tell you to do. Be creative, okay? If you guys get angry or frustrated, anger is an emotion that needs physical release. Don't hold it in. If you get angry, don't hold it in. And I'm not telling you if you get pissed off at somebody, go into... No, that ain't going to work. That isn't going to work. Do something that's going to allow the anger to flow through you. I missed you too, sweetheart. And release you. Okay? Because we all get angry. We all suffer guilt. And just so you know, guilt is not a natural human emotion. It's man-made. You were never meant to suffer guilt. I do a whole course about this where you work through shadow work, but also work through all of your emotions, learn how to deal with them and release them so that you can transform. It's all about that. But, you know, so go work out, go for a run, grab a pillow and scream into it as loud as you can. Okay. You know, if go do something where you're having this physical action that releases it. Go outside and scream if you need to. You know? Anything like that. I'm going to be publishing this, Dave, so you'll be able to listen to it if you need to. Have a good evening. So do those things, okay? And then you're going to feel so much better. So at least you released it, and that anger, you didn't let loose on somebody else. Because a lot of times you either get so angry, you end up hurting somebody else, and it wasn't your intent. Thank you so much. And then other times, my brain just went dead because I was actually responding to a compliment, which I appreciate everything you guys are saying. You could be getting frustrated and angry all day, and things happen and keep happening, keeps building, and it keeps building, and all of a sudden you're standing in line, and this sweet old lady might look at you and smile, and all of a sudden you let loose on them, or let loose on one of your children because you just had such a bad day, and just get angry for no reason. Okay? And that's so important. And let me tell you something about this makeup. Anastasia, their light to medium contour palette. All I do is put a light up here and a dark here, and put a little bit down here, a little bit of lip gloss, I'm good. A little bit of eyeliner. Put a little bit up here, we're good. So it's such basic makeup. So I really appreciate you guys saying that. It's just so it's so basic. But one day I think I'll post that palette, because it's an amazing palette, and I'm obsessed with it and have been for years. And it just works like perfection. So I appreciate all the compliments I do. Okay, so where are we? So don't do things and resort to being underhanded just to get your own way. It's not going to work out, and eventually they all find out about it. I mean, just look at our government and what comes out with these politicians, or situations that happen that they tried to hide, but all of a sudden, no. Truth starts coming out about things, to the point where they all just sit bold-faced lie. News networks, reporters, people go back and forth lying, trying to avert attention. Okay, so understand, don't be underhanded, because it's going to bite your ass in the end. And this is a truth. This is a truth. Okay, so in saying that, don't be sneaky, don't be underhanded. The best approach is to sublimate your ego and pride. Take it down a notch. Take it down a notch. This very action alone will help you avoid and resist provocation, jealousy, impulsive reactions, and conflict. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Don't overreact. And it's so easy, because a lot of stuff that we're dealing with, our fuses may be short because of what's been going on. And then the littlest thing that can happen is set you off. And let me tell you, there is no human being in this world that can set off, especially my children, like I can, because I have my sense of humor is a little bit off. I'm a little bit sarcastic. I'll say something just poking fun, not being mean or anything. And it wasn't a big deal. I'll say something, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, it lights a fire, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, oh man, I did it again. Or sometimes I'm so honest and say what I think that gets me in trouble with them too. It does. It does. And then they'll come back later after getting upset, and they'll go, I'm sorry, Mom. Your just sense of humor, I just wasn't up for it right now. Yeah, I understand and get what you're saying, but I just needed you to listen. Sometimes I just need to learn to keep my mouth shut, especially when it comes to them. But I am human, and I am their mom, and I am a strange bird. Let's not get it twisted. I am. Good night, sweetheart. Okay, so it'll prevent those overreactions and conflict. Okay, so with all of this going on, the Sun conjunct Venus can make it harder to give and receive love, to see beauty and feel beautiful. It makes it harder to achieve the peace and harmony we are all craving. So what to do? Well, right now, compromise and cooperation do require a little bit effort. So you're going to have to take a step back, like I said, take a breath. Realize right now that relationship tension, poor self-image, lack of self-love, are all things that might rise up and are very possible. Don't believe the lies. Right now, you turn around and look in the mirror and go, oh, I'm ugly. I call bullshit. You look at that replay, excuse my jersey, but you look at your reflection and go, you're not ugly. You're fucking beautiful. Excuse my jersey. Stand up, and if somebody says, you know, finish this statement, I am. Don't talk negative about yourself, because your nervous system connects and you start believing it. You may be having a rough day, but that doesn't make you less than. You getting through that rough day or that situation makes you more, because you got through it. So if you're going to ask me to finish that session, you know what I'm going to say, because it's my favorite word now. I don't know what it is, but I'll tell you, I am glorious. I am glorious, and that covers everything. And we're all perfectly imperfect together. It's part of this journey. So say, I am beautiful. I am strong. I am powerful. I am smart. I am energetic. I am glorious. And when you say it, you absorb those words. You become what you say you are. Only positive things, guys. Don't say negative things. I usually go with, I'm okay looking with a wild mind. No, Josh, I wouldn't explain it. You're beautiful. You're our Merlin, remember? You are magical. I am magical. Remember that. I am okay looking with a wild mind. I counter that with you are beautiful and you are magical. And that's a truth. That's a truth. And you are perfectly imperfect. Okay? Okay, so poor self-image, lack of self-love is possible. Don't believe the lies. Don't believe the lies you speak to and about yourself, or you hear from others. A lot of people project. If somebody is bullying you or calling you names, you know, if somebody turns around and says something like, I hate you or this or that, even if it's you're ugly, you're crazy, whatever it is, I just smile and I look back and say, I love you too. That's what I say. I go, I love you too. And I just keep walking, because it's not worth it. It's not worth the energy at all. And it's so important for you guys to realize that. No more negative talk, you know. You want to be, the glass is half full, not empty. In the times we're in now, it's so important, because we're all going to need to get so creative to be able to thrive now. Right now, it's calling you to stand up as an individual and determine your life and not depend on anybody else to create that life for you. So it's a very creative space, but we have all this work I was talking about at the beginning for you to do. Okay, so just like Ishtar in the underworld, Venus has been known, and this is a truth. She is beautiful. She is passionate. But Venus can be a little extra, and she's a little extra right now. Okay, she is a little extra. In fact, she's a lot extra right now. So Venus has been known to be self-indulgent, overly sensual, easily bored, sexually demanding, jealous, cruel, vengeful, intense, volatile, destructive, and violent. Wrath of a woman, right? So, with that being said, my writing sucks, guys. It really does. Venus conjunct Mars brings heated passions and physical desire. But a lack of compatibility or rejection can lead to competition, sexual tension, poor self-control, and impulsiveness. Anybody resonating with this right now? Venus conjunct Mars heats heated passions and physical desire. But a lack of compatibility, I am repeating it, or rejection can lead to competition, sexual tension, poor self-control, and impulsiveness. With more of a focus on sex than love, compassion may be lacking. This should be ringing true for some of you guys. It really should be. So avoid lowering your standards. I want you to listen to this. What's done is done. There's no need to go back because there's so much to look forward to. And having that peace is so important in harmony. Okay? So, avoid lowering your standards or putting yourself at risk because of impatient lust. Sun and Mars overpowering Venus could lead to selfishness, anger, hate, loss of temper, cruelty, rivalry, revenge, violence, rape, protests, rioting, burns, cuts, accidents, and war. I want you, and then, you don't have to believe me. You don't have to. But a lot of the people who are listening to this right now, I feel like there's something more though. I didn't trigger this. No, you didn't have to trigger this, but you responded and you were triggered and you were made to feel a certain way. But, okay. So, remember what I said. Mars and the Sun are overpowering Venus. So Venus, like when an animal is cornered, or they feel like they're not getting, or people feel like they're not getting a fair shake. When you miss someone, sometimes you reach for something familiar, yes. But if you're reaching for something familiar, something better, magical, yes. Are you talking about reaching for something familiar with the same person, or are you reaching for something more? Because when you reach for that familiar, you have to remember the boundaries of what the relationship is. Like I have a friend and who's also a client that madly in love with somebody, was in a relationship with them, and they really truly are meant to be together, but unfortunately they've tried a few times in this lifetime and this is not their lifetime. It just isn't. And they need to remove their energy from their life so that they can move on and actually have peace and be happy. Not have that constant struggle where it's good for a little bit and then it gets really bad. And I looked at her and I go, listen, there's nothing, you guys have a connection and you love each other, but you both realize that it doesn't mean you were supposed to be together in this lifetime. And if right now you have that, because they kind of like have a friends with Benny's relationship kind of thing going on. And if it's fulfilling, like I can't do that. That's not me. I can't do friends with benefits. I can't, emotionally, I can't do that. I just can't. It's just not, I'm not capable because of how much I feel and the depth that I feel at. And it's very hard for them too, because they're the same way, but I'm like, well, you don't live near each other anymore. And I guess you guys could go out and they visit and this and that. And she's like, what about same imprinting and love or nothing? And the thing is this, I'm like, but, she's like, well, what about sex? And I'm like, well, because they're really good together. And I'm like, well, I mean, that's hard because usually comes with connection. I'm like, if you can do the friends and Benny's thing and you know where it's at and you're not going to expect anything more than that night or that weekend, I'm like, okay. But also understand if that person's energy stays with you and on you, where they're such a big part of your life still, okay, then you are going to block anybody else coming to you because they're going to feel that energy there. So that's why a lot of people, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You just can't do it. And a lot of people who have their cake and eat it too usually end up being in a very toxic relationship. So when the one relationship finally ends and they think, oh, wow, I'm free to be with them now. No, it doesn't work out. That's what the person implied and asked for, friends with bono tensions. No. Joss, that, oh, I will say it again. If that's something that you feel that you yourself energetically and your heart can handle, and it's not going to harm you, and it's like agreed and you're okay with that, then that's on you guys, you know. But if it's going to bring up the feels and the memories and you start feeling a certain way, and then when all of a sudden they disappear, good night, sweetheart, and they're not there for you anymore. I'm going to be finishing this up soon, so you can re-listen to it tomorrow, Maria. Then it's not good for you. You have to do ultimately what's right for you and in your highest good. And sometimes to let go is the hardest thing to do, but all around, it's the best thing. Because, you know, you move forward, you meet somebody, it's great. All of a sudden, a person comes back, and then you're like, then you start entertaining that, and then that person you were with, all of a sudden, they're gone with the wind. And you missed on an opportunity. I'm okay with that. I think the other one got scared. Yeah. Absolutely. But there was a lot going on. Look where your energy and your thoughts have been. You know what I'm saying? Can't burn that candle at both ends. I know. I know that. I know, honey. Okay, so Venus, so the Sun and Mars overpowering Venus could lead to selfishness, anger, hate, loss of temper, cruelty, rivalry, revenge, violence, rape, protest, rioting, burns, cuts, accidents, and war. Look what we all woke up to on the news this morning. And I'm just going to leave it there because I'm not getting political. Now, the fixed star Nunki at Capricorn lies between the Sun and Venus. It gives truthfulness, optimism, a religious mind, straightforwardness, and an outspoken nature. But with Venus, the heart rules the head. And when I say you have to focus on your heart because it's the center of your soul, that's different than your emotions. So there's a difference between the heart ruling the head in that way and then your emotions ruling the head. Because your answers lie within your soul. But to get there, you have to do that internal work and go through your heart to get there. But a lot of times, we are so emotional and want something so desperately bad, or we're so in love or so passionate about something that we just can't let go of it, you know? And then because we weren't thinking, because we weren't really listening and allowing ourselves to feel the truth and see the truth, then you get yourself in trouble, okay? So like we said, the January 3rd full moon at Cancer aligns with the fixed star Sirius, which is 14 degrees 26 Cancer. And Sirius is the brightest star in the sky, twice as bright as the second brightest star, Canopus, Canopus. Sirius has a powerful, intense influence on the moon, amplifying the polarization with the Sun, Venus, and Mars. So you already have Sun because it's conjunct with Venus and Mars and is blocking them with its rays. And that is weakening them and making Venus a little bit more weaker. So Mars and the Sun's kind of overpowering and causing all these issues. But Mars has all this ambition and all this other stuff. So you see all this chaos that's happening right now. You really have to move gingerly through this month. Sirius being where it's at, okay, aligns with Cancer. Sirius is the brightest star, like I said. Sirius has a powerful, intense influence on the moon, so it amplifies the polarization with the Sun, Venus, and Mars, okay? Hey, Lexi, how are you, sweetheart? Hello, Happy New Year. So then what happens? You have that amplifying everything. So guess what? You're going to see everybody's true colors. Your feelings are going to come to the surface. You're going to have to face this and deal with this. You're going to have to understand that you're going to have to work through some things to have your ambitions and your dreams come true or be able to come alive. You got to think before you speak. You have to understand that you're getting aggravated and frustrated and depressed and all these feelings. I miss you too, sweetheart. Happy New Year. And that somebody else is going through the same thing. Because even though this year is about you, it's not just about you, because we're a world that is filled with so many people where right now everybody needs to do the work to fix themselves. And it's not that you're broken, because we're not broken. There's just things in our lives that are, so fixing is the wrong word for that. 2026 is the year we fix, because we're going to fix a whole lot of shit this year. But you're not broken. There's just things that you've held on to or gotten involved with that were not aligned with your highest good. So now is the time where you can seriously see it. Okay? Now, fixed star Sirius is also associated with ambition, power, creative talents, faithfulness, devotions, custodians, and guardians. So, if well aspected, if the alignment's where it needs to be, and you're working with it the way you need to, it gives wealth, fame, and good fortune. But harshly aspected, which it is, opposite Sun, Venus, and Mars, it can create more inner power than can be safely managed, pushing ahead with too much ambition, heated passions, accusations, resentment, problematic actions, psychotic behavior, and danger of violence, injuries, and yes, dog bites. Because all of that's involved. So the alignments, they're good and they're bad. Okay? So there's so much work you need to do, and you can't push so hard because you remember you have all this energy and everything else, the ambition and everything happening. You want to go, 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 go. And yes, it's the year of the fire horse. But because of the alignments right now, it's like they put a collar on your neck and they're holding you back. You know? So you have to be able to loosen up a little bit. You have to step back a little bit so it doesn't close in too tight around your neck. If that makes any sense for you guys. Hi, Danielle. So with the moon, where it's at now, business success, influential friends of the opposite sex, favorable for the father, good health, beneficial changes in home or business. If a malefic be with the sheet, death by fiery cutting weapons or some beasts, from beasts, okay? So, that's a saying, which I totally just screwed up when I read it because sometimes my tongue and my mouth move too quick, okay? Right now with the moon and its aspect of where it's at, with all the other planets, okay? Business success, influential friends of the opposite sex, favorable for the father, good health, beneficial changes in home or business, favorable for the father, the masculine, okay? Doesn't just mean male. If a malefic be with sheet, death by firing, cutting weapons, or from beasts. Okay. So, sheet, you ask me, what is sheet? So funny, I just talked to my boss about prioritizing a better work-life balance because I pushed myself very hard this year and I was burning out. Well, you were stopping to focus on yourself, and yourself matters. And when you're feeling better and taking the time you need and balancing that, that makes your work life better. So poetic. So fixed star sheet. Do you want to know what that is? The fixed star sheet is an enterprising, stubborn, headstrong, combative, changeable, and unpredictable nature. It causes controversies, fantasies, the gain and loss of friends and acquaintances, extreme misfortune, violence, murder, suicide, and drowning. So if you do not tune in to what your feelings are and the energy you have, and you're not aware and observant and tune in to what's going around you, you're going to get blindsided. You have to maneuver your way through what's going on. So with Neptune, prominent in inventive, occult, or psychic matters, persecution, peculiar domestic conditions, many accidents, danger of death from drowning, catastrophes, or suicide. So all that is a little bit scary because all of these things can happen in what the energy is happening right now. But that doesn't mean it's a doom and gloom full moon. It's not. It's one that you actually have to pay attention and process everything you're feeling and take a step back and look at it and realize what doesn't serve you and what serves you. And make sure you release the things that are not in line with you and your highest good and what your dreams are or what you want for your life. Don't force something. You know, allow things to happen in your life organically and realize when it's time to release. Then you can get through all of these opposing forces and energies, you know, because it's very hard because you have, you know, things which create ambition and inspire creativity and all of these things. And then you have the other alignments that say, no, we're not allowing that. So they get in your way and they block you. And then you get all pissed off. You can't fight against it. You have to know when to loosen up. You have to back up a little bit. And then your way, the path will be paved for you. Because you didn't try to force going down one road. You allowed another option to present itself. Okay? Sun opposite the moon with your full moon aspects. Sun opposite the moon brings your home, family, and intimate relationships into sharper focus for the following 2 weeks of this moon phase. Opposing forces such as work versus home or what you need versus what you want create inner tension and external pressures. This polarization can lead to conflict and crisis that drain your energy. So be aware of this. However, heightened feelings and intuition with this full moon and sun alignment. You make more receptive and aware. You are more receptive and aware of the dynamics of relationships. Greater clarity and objectivity help you find emotional balance and security, modifying your behavior and reactions. Remember I said you got to take a step back? Modifying your behavior and reactions can relieve tension and resolve relationship problems. Say it the right way, not the wrong way. Think before you speak. Allow yourself to really see. And if something comes up or you're upset about something, especially with somebody else, ask yourself, why is that making you so upset? Look in. Look to yourself for the answers that are there. Come to terms with the things you need to come to terms with. So the full moon opposite Venus brings a strong need for companionship, but makes it difficult to show love and affection. Okay, because of the alignments. So the need is there. But it's really hard for you to show love and affection right now. And it could be frustrating because normally that may not be who you are. Like, why is it so hard? Why is this so hard? What's going on? The relationship tension and difference between partners. So if you're with somebody that is not aligned with you, or you want to be with somebody, but it's just not working out because there's issues there, okay? So relationship and differences between partners can become more evident and problematic now. So it's all coming, you're seeing everybody with their true colors, remember? Particularly when needs and expectations differ. The amount of love and affection given may not be returned, and unrequited love or separation is possible. So expect that. And for a lot of cases, even though it's hard and you don't want, in the end, you're going to have welcomed the change, because then you will have peace immediately once you work through it. You may experience during this full moon possessiveness, jealousy, insecurity, lack of self-worth and self-love, self-indulgence, comfort eating, so be careful with that, drug and alcohol abuse, and financial stress. We all handle these feelings differently. Some people are stress eaters. Anxiety causes them to eat. Some people turn to drug and alcohol. Some people start gambling or stop going into work because they just can't do it that day. They're not feeling well. So you have to be aware with that. These things can happen. And remember, it's not you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's issues that are not aligned, that this alignment is bringing to the surface, that it's forcing you to deal with them. And if you don't deal with them properly, then there's going to be chaos and you're going to have a bigger hole to climb out of. There is a risk of lowering your standards right now, which you don't want to lower your standards. And that's because people want to have that connection so desperately. So there is a risk of lowering your standards when dating, people, engaging in adultery, promiscuity, depravity, shamelessness. Venereal disease can be heightened right now for people. Believe it or not, it still is an issue. Controversy, scandal, and infamy. Be the change. Focus on what you need to focus and don't get caught up in all this negative energy that's coming down. Use the aspects and bring it to the light. Don't get sucked in and controlled by it. You control and dictate what's going on with your relationships, with your life, with your world, with your family, with your job and your career. And that goes all back to prioritizing yourself and dealing with the stuff you need to deal with so you don't overreact to things. Okay? So the full moon opposite Mars creates an insatiable need to fulfill your passionate desires. But relationship tension, hardship, delay, or contradictions can cause the irritability, impulsiveness, emotional volatility, and aggressive instincts. Be ready and don't buy into it. There is a risk of disrespect, provocation, forcefulness, insults, meanness, explosive outbursts, conflict, domestic violence, deprivation of senses, lunacy, frenzy, theft, scandal, disgrace, illness, infection, and facial wounds. And it's funny because everything that goes on, you have all this stuff that can happen, then there's physical things that can manifest because of it. Really important. Just like speaking and saying, I am glorious, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am creative, I am smart. It's so much better than when people say, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm weak, I'm stupid. Don't say any of those negative things, because what you're doing is the energy and the forces at work right now is going to jump on that and is going to amplify it. And those lies you're telling yourself, you know what I'm saying? It's like somebody whispering in your ear this energy saying, you don't have self-worth. There's no way you can do this. Then you buying into that lie, it gets compounded. So what wasn't real becomes real because you allowed it. Okay? Do not allow this negativity and these forces to affect your life. Take the energy and what it's bringing up that's having you see clearly about the people in your life, whether relationships are working or not. Don't allow yourself to see and use the energy to face these things, process them, and let go of what you need to release. Give it away so that you can actually draw in what you're aligned with. Stop beating a dead horse. It's a good way to put it. So, the spiritual meaning on a roundabout, so we kind of rewent over everything, okay, is that the January full moon brings powerful emotions and heightened intuition. Influenced by Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky. The alignment of the Sun, Venus, and Mars increases the intensity and heralds the beginning of a new phase in relationships, especially love relationships. Mars, hidden by the sun rays, allows for an honest reassessment of your intentions and desires. And Venus, stripped of her makeup and adornments, as we like to call them, shows what you truly love. The truthful fixed star's Nunki helps to reveal your true colors and the true colors of others. So this lunar cycle will expose the true colors of many people, their real intentions and agendas, so pay attention because you will find out what yours are as well. And then you will be able to see through the mist and you'll be able to see through the darkness because everything's being drawn up into the light. Who wants peace and who wants war? And you are going to steer away from the people who want more. You are not going to become part of that sickness and that toxicity. Okay? And that's basically everything. That's this full moon. Okay? So, what was I going to say? So tomorrow, for anybody that's on here, that's part of it, we do have 10:30 EST, 7:30 PST, the dream analysis class starts up again tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I am doing the full moon journey. I really highly suggest anybody that's looking to get this year started right and start becoming in alignment for what was meant for you and your highest good, that you do participate in that full moon journey. It's amazing and they're a lot of fun. There are 2 choices that you can pick from. You can either do the 8 o'clock. Oh, I can't wait. That's awesome. 8 o'clock EST time or 8 o'clock PST. You can pick which one you want to do. And for my ones that are in the middle, that are 2 hours, like right in the middle between EST and PST, which would be Becca and Aisa. We'll see how many people are in the time that works best for you. So we may be able to adjust it a little bit because you know that we've been able to adjust before with the East Coasters or West Coasters. It just depends on who's doing the journeys, and I'll know more about that tomorrow. So definitely let me know which time zone you're looking to do right now. Also, I'm very excited because, like I said, 2026 is the year we fix. And we really want to engage with this whole fire horse. Remember, we're riding the sucker bareback. Because that's what we do. Okay? Shadow work is very important to be able to release trauma and face the things that have been holding us back, that we've been holding on to. So working with doing the shadow work is working in healing. At the end of February, I will be releasing the information. Excuse me. So I'm going to cough again because it's stuck in my throat. I'm going to be doing 12 moons, 12 goddesses. And remember, we all have the masculine and feminine within us. Or 13 moons, 13 goddesses. I'm sorry. So it's going to actually go through, because we actually have 13 full moons in a year. But it's going to go through all the full moons and then work with the goddess and the energy that's associated with that. And that is a lot of shadow work. So I am going to be doing that. So that's actually going to be something that is separate from my regular journeys that are starting up again as well. And that's a commitment. That's not something that people are going to be able to cherry pick. So if you're interested in doing the shadow work, you just don't, it gets hard. It's not easy, but it is so fulfilling, and it will really, by the end of this year, oh my God, the ascension and transformation you have is going to be huge. So I will be advertising that, but you would have to commit to, you know, what comes with that, which I'll explain later, because we do it's a full moon journey. You'll have different things to journal and to work with and exercises through that entire lunar cycle. And things you're going to be working on individually and then working with us in a group as well. So that's going to be advertised within the next week or so. And definitely book your sessions. Past life regression, soul retrieval. Soul retrievals are really great right now. Really are. Life path sessions. Anything you need to do now is a really good time to work with me. And the people that I've worked with before, remember that everybody's grandfathered in. So if you're wondering about the cost of the sessions, all you got to do is hit me up and I'll let you know or remind you of what yours is. So that's it. That's good. I think tonight was good. I love you all fierce. Okay? And I will be doing a Mystic Monday pretty soon. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing this Monday because of everything else that's going around. But yes, you do need a good reading from me. Let's set one up. What was I going to say? But I'm doing it differently than I did it before. Okay, so some people are going to get frustrated because it's not like you're going to be able to come on, ask a question, and I spend like 30 minutes. Okay, because everybody needs a shot. So the way I'm going to do it, if anybody has a question that they would like answered, okay, you can direct message or email me a question. And then I'll pick from a hat who I'm answering on the different Mystic Mondays. Because they're only going to be an hour. They're not going to go over an hour. And there's going to be, you know, probably an energy forecast that's involved in that. And then I'm going to pull, and then I'm going to answer the questions that I pulled. And that if you're not online to see it, I will tag you so you will have received the message. Okay. Now, you're going to say, but what about this? And I'm going to say, well, if you want to delve deeper, you need to book a session to get there. And then everybody gets an opportunity to get a question answered and a suggestion that Spirit has for you. So definitely email a question. You can, you know, and then I'll just pick at them as we go through. Okay? All right, guys. I love you fierce. Happy New Year. I'm so excited I was able to come back on and do this today. I love you all, and I've missed you so much. And I look forward to working with some of you tomorrow and the sessions that you guys are going to be booking, because we want to get this in and get it done. Let's start it now. Let's start it now, so that we're going to be partying in the best of ways at the end of next year, because you're going to be celebrating. You're going to celebrate the year that you had, despite all of the bullshit. Right? All right. I love you guys. I will talk to you soon. Love you too. You are so welcome. And you know I'm always here. I'm always here for you guys. All right, so I'm going to jet, and I will talk to you later. Have a good night. I will reach out to you for tomorrow and send you an invoice. Absolutely. I love you guys too. Looking forward to tomorrow. It's going to be fierce. It's going to be fun. Joss, on a side note, because you connect so deeply, especially with Atlantis, the light code activation for you should be insane. Insane. And then after you do it, if it's what it's going to be, what I think it's going to be, you're going to have to create some new music. All right. I will talk to you guys soon. One more thing. And then I really got to go. I'm starting a book club, which I had mentioned to you guys. I think the first book, I'm going to have people that I get involved in. I'm going to actually advertise that too. I think the first one is going to be Many Lives, Many Masters by Dr. Brian Weiss, because it really explains, especially for the people who doubt and don't believe. It explains, his journey and past life regressions and things like that, and how they can really help you. So we are going to have that. And then, because I'm going to try to do an interview with each author of the book as they come up. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get him to do an interview like I'd want. Like I have some other authors that will come on and answer questions. But what I will do after we meet and do the book club, once the book is completed, okay, then what'll happen is I'll bring other people on for a live that I've done past life regressions with that can help explain the process and how it actually helped and changed their lives. So I'm going to be doing different books. We'll do like a workbook, like Om Seti, Many Lives, Many Masters. I'm going to actually do a time when we read Amy's book, Reiki and Beyond, and my friend Chuck, the Ghost Hunter's book, and all that. And they will come on. And what'll be great is I will do a live on Instagram where they will answer questions related from the book for everybody, but then also on YouTube, I'll actually have a formal interview with them as well, which just talks about their journey, who they were, how they came to where they were at. So there'll be 2 different ways you can learn about them. So if there are any books or any subjects that you're interested in, because we're going to do spiritual alchemy and everything. This is going to be fantastic. Fantastic. I can't wait. If there's actually any other things that you're interested in learning about, there's another book we're going to be reading too, and I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get an interview with her, and that's Dying to Be Me. An amazing story, and it's a near-death experience, so it's really cool. So we're going to do a lot of stuff. So, you know, if you have suggestions, questions you want answered, send them in to me. A subject you want to learn more about, we'll add it to the book club thing, and then we'll do interviews and things like that, okay? So a lot of stuff going on this year, a lot of stuff. And I love you fierce. And Aisa, so you know, your crystal is waiting for you. That gorgeous phantom citrine that you love so much. So I just wanted to let you know about that too. She's still here. She's definitely yours. So we're going to have to figure that out. All right, I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. Bye. And she's still here. I didn't forget because you're the one she wants to be with. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay. Bye.